I'm going to go pretty quickly on the concept of evolution of humans. Long time ago, we just lived in caves in our own, right? Fighting for survival, trying to get food. This is similar, but nothing to do exactly with the Abraham Maslow pyramid. It changes in the second stage, okay? So it's survival. You have nothing, but you have to kill or get killed. This is no one's world. Sometimes you find them in the corporate world too, right? Sometimes. They are rare. If you find someone like that, keep it. They're collectible. You don't find them that often. Normally you don't find them. So this long time ago, we used to behave like that. We human beings, we used to behave like that. We used to be like that. But then, we learned that there's not only about survival, but keeping our stuff safe. So we thought about security. And we gave up part of the freedom of the survival world to come and be part of something or somewhere safer, a safer environment. I want to feel safe. I don't want to be fighting for my life all day. I want to be part of something I can sleep and another person is taking care of me. I'm part of a group. Maybe I'm still living in the cave, right? I still have that old computer. I'm still afraid of losing my job. I need security. I need security. Because I don't know, maybe this project is going to go wrong. And they're going to do a head count at the end. So I need security. You find lots of people in there when you talk about change. When you talk about change, lots of people go back to security. They need security. They need to feel safe. You need to communicate that. And we're going to learn how to detect that. Then, once we are secure, we are safe, we want power. Yes, because we're safe now, and then we say like, okay, well, we have this bunch of people who is safe here, but I think I'm a little better than them. So I can do something. You separate yourself, you isolate yourself from the group. And you don't think as a group anymore. The group is safe, right? Everywhere we go, we hunt together, we kind of stick together, we fish together, we sleep together in the cave. But there is one person who thinks that can run the cave, right? And this person is called boss, right? And he has power. For the first time, he has power. So he's able to control people around. And he's motivated by that. So if you find someone in here, and I want to help you, you're my stakeholder, and you're here, you put a paper here, I need to translate whatever project I'm working on into power, reputation, advantages for you. Yes? And if I translate that correctly, you're going to show interest. You're going to start to listen because you realize that's what you want. Yes, and with all these new projects, you're going to gain some control. I like control. Yes. And you know what? We're going to be the first ones in place. Success. Achievement. I like that. Yes, and being the first ones in the market, we're going to gain leadership. Leadership. I like that. You know, and you're talking to them because you know they're here. But you have to identify that. And they speak normally in that when they're talking about why do you want to work in this project? Why do you want to develop this new idea? Why did you bring me in? Because I need to gain some leadership. We need to gain control of the market. If they talk in those terms, they're here. They're here. So you need to sell them that in order to get them engaged. So once we were in power, we realized that even though we have power, we have uncertainty of where to go, because that's a constant with the human nature. That once we have control and power, like the famous people, artists, high-rank officers, presidents, they have control of the whole country, and then they find themselves like, oh, where do I lead them to, right? So it's like, now I have to make a decision. So they have to refer some kind of order. This is where all religions are born, beliefs. So we find a structure in our lives, and we move forward. We have a system. We need a system. And some people is going to talk about the projects in this terminology, and they're going to say like, okay, yes, but we need to understand what's the process. If we do this, what advantages do we gain? What are the probabilities of success if I follow all of your directions? If they ask you that, they are totally in order. So you have to provide them with that. Give them what they want. Translate whatever the project is that you're working on into order so they can resonate. Because you know you put the paper there. Once you have order and you understand that if you behave, good things happen. If you follow the procedure, the system works. So they like that because they have order. Can you relate to that? Can you detect examples of people that you work with that they like to have the certainty that if they do this and this and that, they're going to be okay? And they ask you. They are in front of something new and they ask you for, what's the process? What is the process? What are the steps? And then you tell them, okay, well, if you do this and this and this by this time, and this deadline, we're going to be okay. And they relax. Why? Because they have the order they were looking for. They were looking for order, you gave them the order, they are happy, they are with you. But what happens if you give order to someone who is in power? They don't listen. Right? You go and tell them, well, if you do this and this and that, and all of that is not leadership because you are guiding them. So they don't listen, they don't like you. They don't want to follow your directions. Why? Because you are not resonating with them. You are in a higher level. You are in order. They are here. Reputation and power. You need to translate to this. There's nothing that is better than the other. It's just, and we can go back and forth. And something bad happens in our day, we can go back to security. Yes. Then we are leading a group, and maybe we can go back to reputation and power or competition. Or maybe we go to a yoga class and we go to Earth as a whole, spirituality. Now you have order. You know that if you follow this 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, you're going to be okay. Now I want to make it faster, better, and I want to win. Because I know the system is there, it's going to work. When are we launching? That's the question, right? When are we launching? Because I want it now. This should be deadline. What is the deadline? They're worried about beating the deadline. Deliver before the deadline. Yes, give me what I want now. They want to win. Lots of people is success and achievement. To be able to win, to be first in the market, to be faster, better, to be there first. And they are here. But if you talk to them, once again, if you talk to them about power, and they are here, they don't care about that. They don't care about like the good name and the reputation. That's a given. You're supposed to have it, yes, but they are looking for a winning opportunity. Now you have competition. What can you ask for? Once you have all the competition settled, and you know that you're going to win, you want everyone to get its share. This should be fair to all people involved. Everybody should be taken into consideration. We have to spend some time talking to everyone around the room to make sure that they are listened and they feel listened, and we take their input into consideration for the next project. When they talk about like that, they talk like that, they are totally in, here, nobody. Harmony, community, include everyone, yes? Make sure that it's fair to all concerned. And once you have that, as a community, the human evolved, and this is kind of like the hippie part of the evolution, right? Everybody should have the same thing, and everybody should be happy. They should have the resources and the opportunities. It should be equal to everyone around the globe. Then you move up. And you go to learning. Because then you discover that everybody's happy, but if you knew something else, if you learn a new thing, you can be a little better than them, right? Maybe if I know this or that, I can bring something better for them too. So I'm into learning. Lots of people here, right? Learning new things, analysis, creativity, understanding, getting to know more, learning new things. What are we going to learn here? Lots of the missions nowadays from different companies, corporations, they describe learning, like learning, finding new opportunities, exploring new markets. That's learning all over the place, right? When they say like, our goal for 2014 is to explore new markets and discover new ideas and take this project to the next stage, which we don't know what it is yet, but we will discover, right? It's all about learning. There's nothing down there, there's nothing written. There's uncertainty all over the place, and they're happy because it's learning. If it's not new, there's nothing to learn. So they love learning new things. They're surprised by options, and they like that. So if you find someone in there, give them an expectation of learning something. Translate your project and your communication so they can find something to learn. All these new opportunities, all these new possibilities, you're selling. All the time you're selling. And if you do that right, you can take them to the very last stage, which is the lonely place where our friend lives. Earth as a whole, in considering the whole environment, not only the people, but the animals, the plants, and the buildings, and everything around, taken into consideration, because we are all connected, right? Do you feel like that? Yes? Don't cry, don't cry. Again. So what is this? This is like the evolution, and we can go back and forth even during the day. So you have to pay attention to these lines, what people is saying, what your stakeholder is telling you. The way he talks gives you a window to enter. Maybe a door sometimes. If they tell you, it's like, I don't feel in control. I'm not happy because we're not in control. What are they saying? They want control. They want power. So you translate all into this, which is red there. So you translate whatever communication you have to enhance the advantages of leadership, power, control, so they can feel happy and be attracted to it. And it's really simple. Yes?
Well, just, I see the things like this. Like, you can't have like power or reputation if you haven't been successful. Well, I think.
Okay, the question again?
Like, because I saw first that you have first is power and then success. Mm-hmm. But you can have power with other people. You can be successful before, like your experience. If you don't have a good reputation, mm-hmm. You are not going to have power. So it means that you can be successful before.
Okay. This is the order. You have a good name, you feel powerful. That is different than being powerful, right? You feel powerful. That's what motivates you. You're not powerful. That's what you're looking for, right? If you already feel powerful, you don't go there. If you already recognize yourself as a powerful person, I'm a good leader, I have a good name, there's lots of good reputation about me, I don't even care about this. It's a given. Yes? What I'm looking for is to win, to keep my name, right? To keep winning, to be the first, to keep building that good reputation. So it's like step 1 and 2. But it's about how you feel and what you're looking for. It's not what you are, remember. Yes? It's what you think you are, right? And that's the important part, because one thing is what you are, the other one is what you think you are, and the other one is what they see you are, right? The other people think you are, and put it in a blender all together, and you don't even know who you are, right? Right, that's true, man. Okay, that's true, because sometimes it's like, you know what, this guy is so powerful, yes, all the way, yes, I feel very secure of myself, I have very high self-esteem, I'm very good reputation, and then people go like, but you think of yourself like a person who has a very good name. So it's about what you think of yourself. Because if your stakeholder thinks of himself or herself on terms of power, and you go and talk about any other of the different grades categories, they're not going to listen. So with this in mind, we had, the first one was client satisfaction. Pick another one. Client satisfaction. We have results, relationship, resources, budget, and value. Value. Bring in value. Yes? Do you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah, well. Why not? Value. Okay, you say value. Why is it important to bring value? Why? Think about it. And then you have another color. And we're not going to put it there because it's time consuming. But where would you put it? Everybody does. Now that we know, we're friends, or we're and two of you go there because it's lonely. No, but think about it. Bringing good value to your clients. Can you tell me from there?
Creativity.
Why? Explain that. Elaborate.
Well, it's new ideas, it's creativity that enhances the value of whatever you do.
Okay, so you find value in finding the opportunity to being creative over there. Okay, good. Anyone has something different?
Win-win situation.
Win-win situation?
Yeah, where everybody gets the value they are expecting,
Mm-hmm.
if that would be possible.
Yeah, sure. There's always a chance. Yes, well, the lawyers have this saying that they make a good deal when both parties are equally unhappy. They say, well, this was a good deal. So you would be something like this, right? Win-win, everybody kind of the same, hippie. This kind of thing, that's cool, right? Another one? Another one who has something different? Another person? Volunteer? Or voluntold? Sir? Where would you put it? Yeah, I'm looking at you. So, anybody? Enrique?
Reputation, but I think, as you were asking, depends on how we understand value for the people. Because to me, value could be something, but what means value for the people that we are thinking on that? And also depends on the stage of the project. Because some people think the value right now is one thing, but in next month it's not static.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it means that we have to take care of that, but thinking that it's dynamic.
Totally dynamic. That's why it's important to detect the phrases they use. But which one will resonate in your case right now?
Power.
Power. Okay, so in the client that you're thinking, being happy, bringing value, you think that you're building a good name. Yes, you're having good reputation. And this has to do with Enrique's story, his client's story, yes, the moment they're living, the information they have, the company and the project they are involved, lots of factors there. That's why you cannot put it in the PM book. Because every single case is different. So you have to understand and try to detect where are these people located and listen. Pay attention to what they're saying, what they're telling you. Which color are they? Are they red? So if I'm dealing with Enrique in this case, I'm going to go red if I want to communicate with him. But at the same time, I'm going to try to make him evolve to orange, which is the next step, right? Or blue. Bring him to an order, step by step, so we can win. Is that kind of clear? Yes? Yes. Oh, thank you.
Can you please repeat the name of the, I don't know what you call this methodology or...
Graves. Graves. I'll write it out for you.
Graves is the name of the author or something?
Yes, it's the name of Dr. Claire Graves, but a last name, right? And he came up with the spiral dynamics, which is the name of the theory. Right? But the spiral dynamics is, it then later on became a copyright thing. So psychologists will use Dr. Gray categories. Just kind of okay? So we're moving on. Now, we know what people want because we have been detecting this. And we understand that people, in our stakeholders, they want something. They want power, they want reputation, they want to belong to a tradition, to be part of a system, to have some order, to be connected with everything, to be inclusive, to be fair to all concerned. What's important for them? So you detect that and you start providing the information in that channel. Don't worry about the other channels. Focus on that channel. That's your communication channel. So now you have a bridge. That's how I call it. When I go in my missions, like in Haiti or Somalia, the first thing I do is I build a bridge. I understand which stage they are at. Even though they have no water and food, some people is still looking for power. They are not in survival mode. They're looking for power because they grab as many bottles as they can because they're going to sell them later on. They want to be in control. They're looking for power. So I have to build a bridge with them so I can communicate better and get them not to steal that water and share. Maybe I bring them to the harmony community kind of thing, right? So we can share and all survive. Because other than that, we're going to die. So the first thing that you do with your stakeholder is to build a bridge. Which color is your bridge? Is it red, blue, yellow, learning, survival mode? You know, it's like, I'm going to get fired, I'm going to get fired. Oh, we're all, there's a head count coming. So it's survival mode. Or maybe it is more like, you know what, I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't know if this is going to work, and I'm not sure about this project. I have so many questions. They are totally security. You need to talk them in purple. So find your color with your stakeholder. All this information I can send to you by email, okay? But now, you say, okay, well, now I know what they want. Do I know how to talk to them? Right? Do I know how to get that message across? There are 32 different channels of communication that we have on how people think. This is a different topic, right? It's related, closely related. The first one is what you want, my bridge. What I send through that bridge depends on these 32 different channels that we call meta products. And they are very easy to understand. Like, for example, the first one. Have you ever been to a meeting and then, I'm going to go to the first one, and you are in the meeting and then you come and you say like, okay, well, this is the project, here it is, and you have a bunch of people around the table, and you have two kinds of people in that room. One part of that room is going to immediately try to take action. Let's do this, yes, I can do that, oh, I know how to do that, I know a friend who can do that, yes. My brother once told me that he could do that. I know someone in the other department that can do that. So let's do it. Let's do something. They are the proactive side. They want to take action. They need to take action. It's built within their brains. They need to have physical action on something to feel they are moving forward. They are reactive. So these kind of people is going to be more thinking about the strategy to follow. Is that the right step? Would that be the first thing to do? Let's think about it. Let's meditate on this, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. And this guy is going like, what the heck are you talking about? We need to take action now. Yes, this is an urgent project. Yes, yeah, I know it's urgent. That's why we need to think about it. Right? That's why we need to think about it. We need to have a strategy. We need to have a plan. Yes, the plan is I know how to do it, so I'm going to do it. Actually, I made a phone call already. Right? Well, I have 2 emails here, and my finger is about to click send. You know, I'm ready to go. I'm eager to go forward, move forward. So this guy is going to think of that guy like, this guy gets nothing done. He's so restraining myself. And this guy is going to think of that guy. That guy's crazy. You know, he's dangerous for the company. Don't leave him alone. He shouldn't drive like that. It's like too risky. Too risky. He doesn't have a plan, he gets going. It's like a loose gun. And they won't have a point in the middle unless you come in play. And you realize that you have this situation and you need them both. Because without a strategy, nothing happens, right? But without action, even the best strategy fails. So you need both. How can you help them come and meet and find balance? First, you have to identify one of them is proactive, the other one is reactive. There's nothing wrong in each side. You need them both. Actually, in a group, sometimes you only have proactive people. Because since they are very proactive, and in companies nowadays, that's a cool thing to do, right? We're looking for proactive people. They even put it on the advertisements, right? Yes, are you a proactive professional? They hire you because you are proactive. So normally it's common nowadays to find in corporations that you have teams, departments, all the people is proactive there. So what's your task? What is your task as project manager? When you know that your stakeholders are so proactive, they're gonna get into trouble. So what you need to do is to come all the way here to compensate. They are not gonna like you, right? They're gonna think that you're slowing them down. But what you're doing is you're balancing the team. Because someone has to make them think and have a strategy. But you know that only if you identify this is what they need. Then there's another one. We're going to go only a few of them because of time constraints. So we have towards and away from. There are two ways that you can reach a goal. One is heading towards a goal, and the other one is running away from the problems. They both take you to the same place, but you have different drives. Right? It's different kind of motivation. If your stakeholder is talking about what he's going to achieve, he's the worst. He wants to go towards that goal. We want to be more effective. We want to be the system to be cost effective. We want to be faster, quicker, better. We want to achieve things. Or maybe they say like, we don't want to have these kind of problems anymore. Yes, we want to avoid turnover. We want to save some money because we're wasting a lot of money. We want to get away from something. Or we want to head towards something. It seems like a very basic thing. But sometimes, I remember one case. There was these two people who were fighting to death with a knife or something like a knife that they made in their house. They were fighting over beans, canned beans. So they were fighting, and then the soldiers came. And even though the United Nations soldiers, blue helmets, were there and were trying to, to break the fight, they were still like willing to fight. So I came in and started talking to them. And they were trying to do the same thing. The same thing. Actually, they were friends before getting to the beans. Right? Why were they having a problem? They were very stressed. They were in a crisis situation. So when the stress is over your head and your vision gets blurry and you transform into the wolf, right? And everything, the simple details can make a big problem. One of them was talking about what they want to do with the beans, and the other one was talking about what they shouldn't do when they got to those beans. Simple as that. Simple as that. But I came in and I listened to what they were saying, and I discovered that they both wanted the same thing. So I came to this person and talked to them in the towards way, and I came to this person and I said like, well, the other person is saying this and this in the away from way. And I said like, really? Yes? So we're talking about the same thing? Yes, it's the same thing. We're both going in the same direction. You can take the beans. You don't even ask them why they were fighting, because they will remember they were going to start fighting again. Right? But they grabbed the beans and they left. He said like, how, one of the soldiers actually from Peru, he came to me and said like, how did you fix that? You just went there and hypnotized him? And I say, no, I just asked him what you want. And the other guy, what do you want? And I found that they wanted the same thing, but they were trying to get it different ways. So it was a communication problem. Very, very simple communication. I will never forget that one. And it's towards and away from. So how does your stakeholder communicate? Is he towards? Is he talking about like what we're going to get, what we're going to do, what's the next goal? Or he's talking about like what we're going to avoid, the problems that we're going to avoid by having this system or the new project done. Pretty quickly, internal, external reference. I'm going to ask you, quickly, just tell me whatever flows from within your soul. How do you know that you did a good job? Nothing? Oh, you're reacting. Okay, so how do you know for sure that you did a good job? Achieve your goal, okay?
Someone told you?
Comments, somebody tell you, okay? Feedback.
I feel achievement.
You feel?
Yeah.
Okay, you feel?
Yes.
He doesn't have like this, so he feels it here. I know I did a good job. You see, it's body communication, body language too, right? It's body language. It's like, I feel I did a good job here, right? And back there, it's like, oh, feedback. Listen, feedback. What they say, the comments over there. So you either have internal reference, I know, I feel, or external reference, because someone comes and tells me I did a good job. This can change. Sometimes in your family, you're going to be internal, or you're going to be external because you love watching your kids to smile, and that's a big external reference that you have that lets you know that you're a good parent. But maybe then your mother-in-law comes and says, right? It's not your mother-in-law, it's mine, which is worse. So she comes into play and she tells you, you're wrong, you're doing it wrong, you're not a good parent. And you say, I know what I'm doing. So you turn internal reference, right? So you can switch back and forth. So you have to be paying attention to the way they talk, the way they speak. When you're talking with your stakeholder, you have to understand if you're an internal reference, you have to make sure that they tell you how they feel so you can receive feedback. If they're external reference, they're going to ask you, how am I doing? How are we doing with the project? Are we in track? Is everything going fine? Yes? Do you need anything else? Is this the best project you've managed? Is this a good company if you compare to the other companies that you're running? Yes, they want to know. They need to compare themselves because they are external reference. But some other will just stay there and say like, I know what I'm doing, don't worry. Don't even come here and tell me. You know, you come here and say, good job. I don't need you, good job. Oh, they say that sometimes. Is that internal reference. They know what they're doing. They feel it. Yeah. I'm not saying you say that, but is and you say like, I know. Of course I know. So then you have matching, mismatching. And this is like the spinal cord of the whole thing. Because nowadays, I even wrote a couple of articles for some magazines, how to use the pessimist in the company. And we are usually getting rid of pessimists. We don't like them. And I think that's very dangerous. Because they have a keen eye for mistakes. Right? Sometimes we pay consultants to do that. Right? So if we have one for free inside the company already, let's use it. So we come to this place, and I have my presentation, and normally when I deliver this training, not like a keynote like this, but more like a training, when I go on the matching, mismatching, I have the definition of matching and the definition of mismatching. And I have a couple of words in Spanish. So the matchers, the ones that are over there, are reading and finding whatever they can find useful in there. Because they are matching. Their task in the brain is wired so they can find whatever the pattern is. And they make it fit, whatever works. It doesn't work, don't worry about that. What works? Give me whatever I can use to get to where I'm going. But then there is the other side. Is a person that immediately finds the spelling mistakes, right? And they go and you have your beautiful presentation that you spent like 24 hours doing. You know, you have all these projects and fancy presentation, whatever, but you have one comma there that shouldn't be there. And this person cannot look away from the they even go like, oh my God, he's going to the next presentation. You know, it's like, that is not correct. And they cannot go through that. You know, it's like they are not even paying attention to what you're saying. Well, this guy has an accent. Yeah, I get what he's saying, but his accent. You know, it's like, he didn't pronounce that word. Well, they could sound like perfectionists, but no, what they find is what mismatches, right? What breaks the pattern. And this is a great asset for companies nowadays, because you want to identify that as quick as possible. But the problem is that it's kind of uncomfortable to work with them, because they point. Oh, Jimmy, you have a spelling mistake here. Oh, my assistant. It's not comfy. You know, you don't like that. It's not cool, right? You don't like it. So we get rid of them. In the companies, we don't want them because they are bad people. And that's a problem. And normally, nowadays, groups tend to be filled of matchers. And they forget about the mismatch.